Hello, this is Grace chatting, founder of Relationship Academy, where we teach you lessons that they didn't teach at school. And today's lesson is on cyberstalking. Now, I want to emphasize that the purpose of this is not to be alarmist or to cause any alarm. It's just to raise awareness and draw your attention to this crazy new 21st century phenomenon of cyberstalking. You may be familiar with ordinary stalking, but it seems now from the statistics from the Metropolitan Police in the UK that cyberstalking has now far outstripped stalking, which actually isn't surprising when you think about the ease of using technology. And actually, I have to say here, I am a great fan of technology. I just love it. I think it's wonderful. And, I used to be a bit of a Luddite, and I used to have an attitude about social media and consider it to be a great waste of time, but I don't now. I think it's great. I can think of loads of lovely people that I've met in all different places in the world at different courses and conferences, and I've been able to get to know them and keep in touch with them online, and I think it's just wonderful. And I think of elderly relatives that I know in their 80s and 90s who use social media to make it easier to get their shopping, but also they're using Facebook to keep in touch with family and friends, and I'd be able to access all the photographs of events that they're not able to attend. So I just think it's wonderful. So please don't take it that I am scaremongering here. I'm just really wanting to raise awareness about this, so just that you're not naive about it, because we all have a digital footprint. Those of you who are watching this are watching it either on your mobile or on your computer, and the chances are that you use social media. Chances are that all your photos are on your computer and you can access them on your mobile. And probably, you book your holidays and you book your flights and hotels and all courses and things that you do. You probably do all that online. Maybe you use dating sites online. And of course, there's masses of information about you online. Now, just to keep this in perspective, all the banks have all your information, your GPs, hospitals, dentists, loads of agencies have got masses of information on you anyway. So, and any of their computers could be hacked, or any of their files could be, their places could be broken into, burgled, stolen. So, it's a fact of life now that there's lots of information about us out there all over the place. So it's not just your online use of technology that makes accessing your information vulnerable. So I just want to say, now all the websites that you visit, they all have cookies. They use cookies, which means that they can link back to you easily each time you visit their site. And it's probably a really helpful and useful thing. But it's just a case of you being aware that this is what happens every time you use something online. If anybody wanted to track you, they can track you. The computer stores your history. And of course there is your use of the likes of Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Dig and Mashable and MySpace, and there's many other ones, Pinterest. All of these social networks keep lots of information about you, most of it innocuous, and you'll never come to any harm. But if anyone meant to do you harm or to gather information about you for less than honourable intentions, the information is there. So it's about you using the internet consciously. So the statistics that are around, but from reports on this, is that it's about 60% of people who are stalked online are women, and something like about 70% of stalkers online are men. But of course that means there's 40% of people stalked are men, and it means that there's a quite a percentage of women who do the stalking as well. So I'm not saying that from a gender point of view, but one thing to be aware of is that of people who are women who are stalked online, 40% of those will have been victims of domestic abuse and being stalked by the person who had been abusing them. So in particular, I'm addressing this to any of you who may have been victims of abuse, to know that you can be stalked online, and to urge caution. But listen in, and I'll come to what you need to do about it in a moment. So the other thing is, it's not just your computer, it's your mobile. Look, mobiles are really like GPSs, they're like geolocation devices that you can be tracked wherever you go on them. And tracking spyware can be added by stealth to either your computer or to your mobile. It can be done by sending you an email which you open, with a link in it, and you quite innocently open the link and the spyware is installed onto your computer. Same thing can happen on your mobile by sending a text. So you need to be careful about opening links or texts from people that you don't know who they are, particularly if you are vulnerable to being stalked. It's about apps that you use, being selective about what apps you use on your computer and on your mobile, because your whereabouts and information about you can be tracked through these apps. If you were, particularly if you've recently left an abusive relationship or come out of a relationship that you felt was a bit dodgy, use of Google Maps and things like that, you'd want to be careful about. So bear in mind that there's a lot of information stored. There's all the history on our computers and all the texts that we receive and send out being all stored on our mobiles. And the software can be installed in your mobile to listen into your conversations and also to see and read your text. So you might want to be aware of that and be very selective about what you do. So if you are using social media, I'm just speaking to everybody generally, you need to be aware of how you set your privacy settings. If it's set to that it can be viewed by the public, then any Joe Blogs can read everything that you put on your Facebook. I mean, I think Facebook is great, but you need to set your privacy settings that only friends that you have accepted can see your profile on there. But also be aware that there is a blocking function, that anybody that you think might be trying to stalk you online or get information about you, or that you can actually block named people. And I would say as well to block any aliases that they might be inclined or potentially that they might use. So the other thing is that information can be gathered about you from friends. Cyberstalkers, like stalkers anywhere, they are a particular kind of people, and they're quite switched on, and they know to check out friends of friends, and they will often insinuate themselves. If they friend you, they will insinuate themselves with your friends, and they will get information from your friends about your activities, maybe indirectly. So be aware of anybody who, you know, is a casual friend and they friend your friends and start to gather information about you, because it can be used maliciously to cause trouble for you at work or to provoke aggravation. You know, and you know, just to get information about your whereabouts. Also, people who want to burgle, they find out what holidays you've booked, what hotels you've booked, what dates you're going to be away, what parties you're going to go to. So you just have to use things wisely and check with, you know, your friends. Let your friends know that there is some risk, and ask them to not share any information about you or your family. So what do you do if you think that you've been cyberstalked? I mean, one of the clues it's not so much a clue now, that if software had been installed on your mobile, one of the clues used to be that your battery wouldn't last for so long. So if you found that your battery was needing to be charged up more than usual, that might be a sign. But I think the software is becoming more sophisticated, but usually that would have been a sign, or one of the signs. There's other things that can cause that as well. So what do you do? That's the thing. What do you do? Well, look, if you think that you may have been or may be being cyberstalked in some way, then one of the things to do is to clean up your computer. Now, what does that mean? That means that you, well, first of all, that you would install anti-spyware. And I mean, it's quite readily available. There's some free, which I understand is quite good, but you know, you can buy it as well and have it installed on your computer. You would close your email account or accounts if you've got several. If you've got and you know, open new ones. If you've got a blog or website, any accounts that you've got online, really, change all of your usernames, all of your passwords, so they can't be used. And you know, one of the things that people would do is they would use the same password for all different accounts so that they would remember them. And you know, that was taken as a piece of good advice. But if you think that you're being cyberstalked in any way, because some of these people who do this stalking are very persistent, so I would suggest that you have a different password for different accounts, so that if they do manage to get one, they can't get into all of them. So the other thing is, clear all of your history off your computer, clear all of your history off your mobiles, all your texts. Avoid public forums if you can, because that's where they insinuate themselves in there with different, you know, different names and get information about you. With the friends that you have got, because I do understand that if you have been a victim of abuse and that you've had to move or change, you know, where you live, that using social media can be a great source of support and keeping in touch with people, and you know, it does make a difference. But you know, get your settings sorted out and then share very cautiously. And do educate your friends and family about the risks, and use privacy settings to block anybody who might be inclined to get into, you know, get into your circle. So I hope that's been useful. It's not meant to frighten or scare you, but just to make you aware that you stay safe and stay living.